Hello and welcome back to the Odds Now YouTube channel, where it's me, Matt Hill, here to whiz you through the World Cup of Darts 2025, which starts this evening in Germany. A little bit late notice, the tournament obviously it does start this evening, but I thought best to get something up on the YouTube channel for anyone that might be interested. You can, of course, head over to oddsnow.com for a comprehensive tournament preview, which I've written and it's gone online today as well. But if you are more of a video fan, then hopefully this quick run through is going to be of interest. So I'll pull the outright market up on the bottom of your screen now, where we have red hot favourites in England at 1-2. Wales are 11-2, second favs, and then it's 14-1 Scotland, 16-1 Netherlands, 20-1 for Northern Ireland and Belgium. You have Germany at 33-1. Australia 55s, Poland and Ireland are 80-1, and it is 150-1 or bigger the remainder. So the obvious place to start with this is England. We have the dream team of Luke Littler and Luke Humphries. And I think a lot of people are just looking at this tournament as a little bit of a foregone conclusion. And you can understand why. The best players in the world pairing up as one. And 1-2, I can't remember the last time I saw 1-2 in a darts outright market. I think you'd probably have to go back to the Phil Taylor era if I was guessing. And whether it's even happened before, I'm not sure. But, implied chance of 66% probability of England winning this tournament. They, of course, won it last year where Humphries was partnered by Michael Smith. But in comes Littler now, thanks to his elevated world ranking. It's really difficult to make a case for why England might falter. But I do think we have to just point out that it's never a formality in the World Cup playing pairs darts. It's very, very different to singles darts. I think even in their first game last year, England, although it was a comfortable win over France in terms of the scoreline, there were early nerves. They did go a breakdown in that game, believe it or not. And it was only kind of an implosion from France mid-match with missed doubles and bad scoring that made it look very comfortable. And England were able to ease themselves into the tournament. And from there, they got better and better by the round, really. But it was also a weakened field last year. There was no going price for Wales. A couple of the other teams were looking a little bit under par versus the kind of showing we would expect from them. So I don't want to say England had an easy time of it, but yeah, I think sterner tasks await this year. We also have to consider the fact that Luke Littler is on debut here at the World Cup. Nothing's phased the lad so far, so there's no reason to think that this is going to be any different. However, pairs darts, as I say, there's probably going to be a 30 or 40 second difference. I mean, for some teams, it would be more like a minute. But with England, there's probably going to be 30 or 40 seconds in between each of Littler's throw and each of Humphries' throw, because when Littler's throwing his three darts, he's then got to wait for player one from the other team, Humphries, player two from the other team, then he's back to the board. So getting into the kind of rhythm that Littler loves to be in. When we see him at his best, he's playing against a quick player like Humphries. They're both going rapid fire, hammering in the maximums. This is a lot more stagnated, slower, can become nervy. So there's no guarantee that we're going to see the best version of Littler and Humphries, certainly not in their first game anyway. Just for anybody that wants some clarification on the format as well, we have 12 groups of 3 starting in the group stage. 4 teams already go through to the last 16 automatically, and those are England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland this year, who take the seeded spot from the Netherlands. Yeah, so I'm not going to go absolutely mad on taking on England, because there's a very strong chance that we get to Sunday. England have won it, as they supposedly have a 66% chance of doing. And we all just go, well, that was obvious. But I do think there's a couple of teams that can possibly pose a threat to them. I actually think there's 3, but one I won't be backing for reasons I'll come on to. The first team I want to bet, and the price has gone a little bit in terms of the each way terms. So I'm putting up 5-1 here for Wales. You can get 11-2, but that's a third of the odds if they're runners up. We want half odds for the place terms. I think Wales are being a little bit underestimated in this market. I know they're second favourites, but I think this price is still a little bit too big. When you consider Wales last year, Gerwyn Price dropped out at the last minute, citing illness. They had to call in Jim Williams as a replacement, and he was clearly like undercooked. I seem to remember watching an interview with him a couple of days before the tournament where he said he'd only found out 4 days before that he was playing in it, had to sort flights to Germany, take time off work. And yeah, and then he was also partnering to Johnny Clayton, who was badly out of form at the time. Go back to basics this year with the Price-Clayton combination. And in the last 4 years of them playing together, 2020 through to 2023, they won 16 of their 18 World Cup matches, winning the title twice. And the 2 times they lost to Australia and Scotland, they were the eventual winners that they lost to. So their record in this tournament is absolutely peerless in recent times. And like I say, I'm happy to draw a line through last year's showing because of Price's absence. And we've also got Price and Clayton both in fantastic form. I think Gerwyn Price, for me, has re-entered the World Championship winner conversation at the moment. I just really like what I've seen from him this year. He promised that he was going to work on his attitude and his approach. And I think we're seeing the fruits of that labour. It really does look like back to kind of vintage Gerwyn Price at times, maybe just lacking 5% maybe away from his very, very best. But I think his sort of base level of a high 90s average is just so reliable at the minute. And then his partner in Clayton, who won a Euro Tour last month. There's been signs of a revival for Johnny Clayton for a long time for me, under the radar. I've mentioned it a couple of times on videos and in articles. Now, I don't think we're ever going to get back to that Johnny Clayton who had that unbelievable year of the ferret, as they called it, where he just won title after title after title, because obviously the top end of the game has gone up a level now with the likes of Littler and Humphries. But I do think Clayton is one of the form players in this tournament, and he's partnering one of the form players in this tournament. They love playing with each other. They've got a great rapport on and off the hockey, and they're very patriotic as well. So I think the fact that Wales are placed in the opposite half of the draw to England, just by courtesy of the seedings, there's a very, very strong chance that Wales get to the final here. And if they do play England, I give them a very decent chance of making a game of it. So I think with that in mind, I'm talking about Wales being a very, very solid bet to get to the final. So I do want the half odds rather than the thirds odds on the play terms. You can get 11-2, third of the odds with AK bets, but I'm going to recommend the 5-1 half odds with various bookmakers. I think Bet365, William Hill, etc. So just make sure you're getting them half odds if you are following this each way bet. And yeah, I'm really, really keen on Wales's prospects. I just don't see them flopping. I think the two players are in too good form, know the format. Opposite side of the draw to England, I think you get a very good run for your money there at 5-1. And there was some 6-1 available sort of last week, which is obviously gone. So I'm not alone in that trail of thought. The other two teams that I think can cause England difficulties at this tournament are Scotland and the Netherlands. But I'm not going to take on Scotland, because I think for Scotland to cause England difficulties, you'd been relying on Wright and Anderson both producing somewhere near their best starts. I'm not seeing anywhere near enough of that from Peter Wright in recent times. And even Gary Anderson, for all his brilliance on the floor and lesser events, it's still very hit and miss whether we get the best version of Anderson in these majors. Calling this a major, but, a big tournament. So I find it hard to trust Scotland. However, the Netherlands at 16-1 are very, very interesting for me. This is a new look Netherlands team comprising of Danny Noppert and Jan van Veen, who makes his World Cup debut. Michael van Gerwen not playing. This is the third time in 4 years Van Gerwen has skipped this event. He's chosen to go on holiday to Ibiza instead, which probably tells you all you need to know about Van Gerwen's opinions on the World Cup. He said he might not even ever play in it again. So he's obviously not that bothered. Obviously a previous winner on multiple occasions with Raymond van Barneveld in yesteryear. But I think that previously they've had Noppert and Van Duijvenbode as a pairing in the last couple of years, and it hasn't really worked. I think the Noppert-Van Veen combination is a lot more attractive to me as a betting proposition. I watched an interview with Van Veen earlier this week where he talked about his relationship with Noppert, and he actually sort of explained that they practiced together before all tournaments, got a really good rapport, know what routes they like, know what styles of play, pace of play. That's got to be a massive, massive plus. And I'm not sure that that's been factored into the market quite enough, because we're not exactly talking about weak links here, are we? Danny Noppert, former major winner, very, very reliable finisher. Jan van Veen, if it wasn't for Luke Littler, probably the youngster everyone will be talking about, potentially a future world champion, has got all the ability in the world, already a Pro Tour winner, major semi-finalist. And he's beaten all of the top boys, hasn't he? So I really, really like this pairing. I'm really intrigued to see how they go. They're in the groups. They're not seeded, so they have to come through a group, but they're 1-12 to come through their group, which says that they're going to come through the group. And I actually think that could prove to be an advantage, because what they'll have done is they'll have had 2 games playing with each other up on the stage to get used to that rhythm, used to that pressure. If they were to draw an England or draw a Wales in the first knockout game, the last 16, I think that prior experience of a couple of group matches on the stage could help them make a faster start than their opponents, who will be coming in cold. Obviously, England are playing with a mountain of pressure and expectation on their shoulders as well. Again, not saying they won't handle that, but it might impact them if they play a Netherlands side, say, in the last 16, and Netherlands are already tuned in. They make a fast start. They go 3-1 up, 4-2 up, and suddenly it gets very, very high pressure very quickly. So I just look at the team, I look at the dynamics, I look at the draw of the group and stuff, and at 16-1 with a third of the odds. Admittedly, you can get 14-1 half odds, but I actually like their win chances here, Netherlands. I really do like both of these bets in the outright market. So, yeah, Netherlands for me, 16-1 each way, two places, third of the odds with Ladbrokes and Coral. So you'll be getting around 11-2 if they're the runners up there on your place section of your bet, and 16-1 win value. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will just sort of give my thoughts on some of the other major runners and why I haven't gone for them. Northern Ireland, Josh Rock coming in for Brendan Dolan is obviously an upgrade, even though Brendan's like an ever-present here. It's sad to see him not here, but I just don't think that Daryl Gurney has got it in him anymore to go and win a big tournament. I might be wrong there. He seems to have picked up this uncanny knack of like losing games he should win. So I could kind of give them a pass. I think Rock's scoring is phenomenal as well, but sometimes it gets a bit messy on that outer ring, and that might just catch up with them at some stage. They had a heartbreaking loss here last year after a good run. I could see something similar there. Certainly helps them that they're seeded, so they don't have to mess around in the group stages. Belgium are 20-1 as well. I couldn't have them. Look, two fantastic players in Mike De Decker and Dimitri Van den Berg, but look at the question marks still coming into this tournament with De Decker's on debut here. Now, De Decker is one of the most hot and cold players in the top 32 for me. I mean, we saw it at the World Grand Prix when he's on. He's really on. He's hard to stop. But he does have a lot of bad days as well. Some of his exits on the Pro Tour and Euro Tours have been really, really disappointing and underwhelming. So he's a hard man to trust, especially on debut. Nerves do seem to affect him sometimes. So this could be one of those occasions where nerves affect him. I don't think they're in an absolute gimme of a group as well. I think they've got Latvia and the Philippines, which is going to be two tricky tests for them. And it's only first of 4 legs, so it could get messy. And then that's not even mentioning Dimitri Van den Berg, who's been on a break from darts for the last 2 or 3 months due to his mental health. So we don't know what version of him we're going to get. And at 20-1, I just couldn't have them. You know, if they were 40-1, you might be tempted. But yeah, I could give them a pass. Germany at 33s are probably the only other team that slightly interests me. Got the home advantage. Ricardo Pietrezco comes in for Gabriel Clemens. I think that's a good upgrade because Pietrezco, all of his best form is on home soil, isn't it? He's won a Euro Tour in Germany, some great performances in Germany alongside that. So, yeah, Pietrezco on home soil is interesting. He partners Schindler, who's probably in the best form of his career, won a Euro Tour last month, and is still sort of steadily progressing rather than regressing. So I do quite like Germany. I've not backed them. Might come to regret that, but they always seem to find a way to get beat in the knockout stages, even with that home backing. And when I'm playing it in my head, do I see them beating in England or a Wales? I'm not sure I do really. So couldn't put you off at 33-1, but it's not a bet for me. And then of that, there's not many more we need to mention. Australia are next in the betting at 55-1. Won this 3 years ago, obviously. We were on at 33-1 for long-term followers of the channel. But since then, Simon Whitlock's dropped off the tour entirely. He's certainly at the back end of his darting career. And I'm not sure he's going to come back in and be at the form where he would need to be beating the likes of England, Wales, Netherlands, etc. He's got a fantastic playing partner in Damon Heta, and they've got a good rapport, and obviously back form in this tournament. But yeah, just Whitlock not even being on the tour now, it's really hard to make a case for them winning it this year. Poland and Republic of Ireland are the only other ones worth noting, really, both 80-1. Ireland just flat to deceive in this tournament. The pairing of Willie O'Connor and Keane Barry, they should be doing more, but they don't. Group stage exit for them last year, losing to Chinese Taipei or Taiwan, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, again, don't really interest me. And Poland, 80-1. Ratajski's in good form. Same can't be said about Sagansky. I'd rather have seen Sebastian Białowski in his place, and that would have made them a more interesting proposition. But again, they'll hope to come through the groups, and there'll be a stiff task for anyone in the last 16. But in terms of win equity, just not there for me, really. So that does conclude this summary. Just to round up the 2 bets that I'm suggesting in the outright market. Wales, 5-1 each way, 2 places with half odds. That's available with various bookmakers. Make sure you get them half odds if you are taking the each way part of the bet. That's where I think the value lies, really. And then the Netherlands, 16-1. I'm happy to go third odds here for the extra juice, because I do think they're a very, very interesting team who have been overlooked a little bit in this market. 16-1. That's available with Ladbrokes and Coral. Well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the World Cup of Darts. yeah, I'll be getting stuck into the match betting and group betting as well. So good luck if you are playing, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon again here on Odds Now.